This morning's topic is setting up our dashboards. And so for today, we're going to learn how to build a desktop dashboard, which will be used by administrators. And we're also going to learn how to create web dashboards, which will be used primarily by your basic users and supervisors. Now, we're going to look at building our desktop dashboards first. Those dashboards provide for far more customization, so they will probably take a little longer to create. Whereas the web dashboards, for the most part, are fixed format. So the only thing we have to do with our web dashboards is arrange how we want our shifts displayed on individual pages. Now, whether we're talking about a desktop dashboard or a web dashboard, you're going to be able to create as many profiles for each as you feel it's necessary. And so you may choose to create dashboard profiles for a specific department. And again, it all comes down to how large of a department you are, how many different departments within your agency you have. So I think we're about ready to get started. As you can see on my screen, logged on to the desktop application, I have a profile here that it's rather generic. I just call that my police department schedule. And the type of schedule that I'm working is not of much significance here. What we want to focus on is the various pages I have displayed at the very bottom of the screen. So you may choose not to add as many pages as I may have. The need just might not be there. But you'll want to make sure that you at least have a daily, weekly, and monthly schedule page somewhere on your dashboard. So on mine, I have my day and night shifts at the very top and a few more schedules here in the middle portion. And at the very bottom, I have a grid that outlines my minimum staffing requirements for any of these shifts above. Next, I have my weekly schedule, which is a group-based schedule view. So depending on the departments that are included on a page like this, I will see everyone listed under a particular group or department, and we will see their schedules listed over on the right using whatever shift code we use when we created the shift in one of our earlier setup classes. The monthly schedule tab is also group-based, shows your schedule for the month. Now I have a few others that you might find useful and you may want to incorporate into your dashboard. For instance, a monthly calendar by employee. And the employee selection option is at the very top. Next, I have a yearly schedule, which is another employee-based view. So again, we have our employee selection option up top. Under my daily roster, this is just a list of everyone who is scheduled to work on the current day. Now, each page that we're about to create And every tile or content we place on it has a certain level of customization available. So you're going to be able to filter what type of employees are displayed on certain pages or within specific windows within a page. Now, when you log on to your application, you may not have a dashboard like this. Your screen might be entirely blank, or there might be a template that you can use that provides some shortcuts. In other words, the screens may have already been split up to some degree, and you may already have tabs with weekly and monthly schedule names listed below, and you can just add content to any page. But we're going to learn this morning how to create a dashboard profile from scratch, at least a very basic one. And so to do that, we're going to click on the Edit Dashboard button up top. And if you did not have any dashboard profiles or templates already added into your system, the only option you may have on this main screen designer is the ability to add a profile. When you click on Add Profile, you're going to name the profile. And again, you may choose to create multiple profiles for specific departments. That's fine. I am just going to create one generic profile for now. And after I've entered the name and clicked on the OK button, you'll see that you are given a clean slate to work with. In fact, there are no tabs at the bottom other than the default tab. And so if this default tab will serve as our daily schedule, we can use the main screen designer to edit the tab name. So depending on which tab you're in, and of course I only have one, when you click on Edit Tab Name, you can then change it to anything that you would like, daily schedule for instance. The name will be changed at the very bottom, and you can use this opportunity to add additional pages. To do that, we're going to Add Tab. I'll call this my weekly schedule. And again, if I'm in that tab, I can edit the tab name if I'd like to change it at any point. Let's add one more. Great. So our next step here is to resize or divide the page up into sections. So while I have my daily schedule selected, I'm going to use these buttons located at the top center portion of the dashboard screen. And the one on the left will allow me to create a horizontal split. And of course, I also have an option to create a vertical split. And as you do this, with every new subsection you create, you can further subdivide that window in order to be able to fit the content into each section. And you'll notice as you move along that certain types of content require a little bit more space than others. And so you will have that ability to either subdivide the screen further, or you can choose to manually widen the window. Now I'm going to back up a bit and just remove that little subdivision there. And I'm going to use the green buttons located on the top left portion of each section to add the actual content. So because this page is focused on daily schedules, we're going to look at a specific active tile found in our catalog. Let's click on the green button for the top left window. And what we're seeing here is our catalog of active tile content. You'll have about 40 options here. For now, we're focused on our daily schedule active tile. The middle portion of the screen will show you a preview of what that tile would look like if you were to place it on your dashboard. And over on the right are the customization options or configuration tools you have for that particular tile. Now, depending on the nature of what that tile is doing for us will determine what options you have on the far right. So not every tile has all of the options we're currently seeing for the daily schedule. And because there are so many options, it might be easier for me to resize the window to see all of those settings. So for a daily schedule window, we want to select Use Timer, and that just means that as people are posting changes to the schedule will automatically refresh to display that information. We're going to skip ahead to the list of shifts that are currently in my system, and I'm going to select which shift I would like to place within that active tile window. Now, you will only be able to select one shift at a time. So if you have 20 shifts on this list, then potentially you're going to have to add 20 of these windows somewhere on your dashboard profile. In the section below, labeled Days Future, Days Past, we're going to leave that set to 0. This means that the date of the shift will just be based on the current day. If I wanted to have a multi-day view and I wanted this block to show me tomorrow's schedule, I would enter A1. But keeping things simple here, we'll leave it set to 0. Under the sort options, you have 5 choices here. Generally speaking, title and seniority would be the best fit for most folks. Now, if employees will be assigned to jobs, and you want people who are assigned to jobs to be separated from those who are not assigned to any, you can choose title, seniority, and job. So that's one of several possible options. Next, we're going to mark Show Denied Time Off, and this is going to allow the schedule to be marked for anyone who had requested a day off but was denied the day off. And it's just a minor tool that supervisors will have in the event someone tries to request time off and they are denied and then they try to call out sick on the shift. It's just giving that supervisor that piece of information. Under Times, we're going to mark Show Work Times. This will be useful when employees on this particular shift request time off, especially if they're just requesting partial time off, we want to see, well, if they are working a portion of the day, what are the actual hours they are working? In the section below, you can choose which schedule details you may want to include. Now, if you plan on assigning employees to jobs, that automatically is displayed on the daily schedule. But you also have the ability to create additional schedule details. These are things that can be used to designate skill sets or even equipment. And so by assigning any of those items, if you want it to be displayed on the schedule for that employee to see, or someone who's simply in charge of the schedule to see, just mark which schedule details you would like to have displayed on the schedule. Now, before we commit to these changes, you have the option to click on the Apply button, and this is going to show you a preview of what that shift would look like. I'll choose a different one where I actually have people working. And so if you're not happy with the way people are being sorted or the kind of information that might be displayed, you can make the modifications, click on Apply to see a preview of it. Otherwise, you can click on Apply and Use. Pardon me. Okay, looks like we're having a slight problem here with our internet access. Okay, not sure if you can hear me okay, but it looks like there was an issue with the go-to training. Okay, Joel, I apologize. There was a hiccup there with the internet access for a moment. I believe we are back on track. Okay. So, as I was saying before the internet gave out on us for a moment, we're going to click on Apply and Use. And hopefully this did not affect my access to the database here. let's try this one more time. Again, the internet has, when it gave out, I lost connection to my database. So let's add our active tile. There we go. So you may not see the list of employees immediately through the window because you are still in the edit mode. Let's move over to the right and let's just repeat that once again. Daily schedule. And I always like to just widen the window a bit so I can see all of the options. We're going to use our timer. Select the next shift that we want displayed within that window. We're going to show denied time off, followed by show work times, and any additional schedule details you may choose to include. In the bottom portion of the screen, I can split that screen up again. And on the bottom left, I may choose to add my administration schedule. If this particular shift will not have any job assignments or any schedule details applied onto it, then just leave the checkboxes unmarked and click Apply and Use. I will add one more. And so that's how we build our daily schedule page. Now, when you are done, and obviously we're not done building the entire dashboard yet, but if you would like to see what the dashboard looks like so far, click on the Save button on your main screen designer toolbar here, and then exit out of the edit mode. Now, as you can see, there's a lot of open space here on each shift. This is a relatively small department. So this is space that you can gain back. Let's go back into Edit Dashboard. And you'll notice for every window where there's currently content, the options on the top center have changed. Not only can we create brand new splits, which would, by the way, wipe out everything in that window and give you a brand new horizontal vertical split, you also have the options to split up the screen while keeping the current content. So in this, the middle left option, you see a horizontal split with the top portion in yellow. That means the current content, which in this window is my day shift, will be moved onto the top split, and the bottom split will be empty and allow us to add another shift or any other type of content we may want. Let's click on the green button. Let's go to our daily schedule option. And I'll select any one of my shifts I might want to see on that page. Over on the right, under the night shift, I might choose to do the same thing. Instead of adding a daily schedule, I may choose one of the other options in this list. For instance, today's notes, which is really just a notepad that supervisors can write into, the contents of which will be displayed to anyone who logs onto the system. Let's click on the Save button and exit out of our edit mode. And once the screen has a chance to refresh, or if we choose to force it to refresh, you'll see the changes made to the daily schedule. Let's build the rest of our dashboard pages or tabs. Let's click on Edit Dashboard up top. We're going to click on Weekly Schedule. And for this particular page, because of the amount of space needed in order to display those weekly schedules, we're not going to bother splitting up the screen. We're just going to click on the green button. I'm going to move my main screen designer out of the way. And at the very bottom of the list, I'm going to select Weekly Schedule. Over to the right, we're going to use the timer. And below, we're going to choose the groups or departments we want displayed on that weekly schedule. So if this particular dashboard profile is being used by a specific department, you can choose which groups would a person in that department need to see. In this screen, it will allow you to select multiple groups. I will select all, and below, under Sort Mode, you can have the list of employees displayed simply by name, or you can have them displayed by their groups, which is exactly how I had my weekly schedule configured when we looked at it. In the section below, choose what the week start day is going to be. I'll choose Monday, and up top, we'll click on the Apply button in order to see a preview of that screen. So again, I have everyone listed by their groups. When I'm done, I will click on Apply and Use. Let's finish up by adding our monthly schedule. And the active tile name for that is Monthly Schedule Grid. Let's use our timer and select which groups or all groups we want to see and click on Apply and Use. Now, depending on which features you plan on adopting, will determine how many additional pages you might need. There are no limits to how many tabs or pages you can have. There are no limits to how many profiles you may have. Now, before you add any content onto any one of your pages, using that main screen designer toolbar, you can just use the catalog to browse through the different types of content you might want. Now, some of these types of content will be supervisory related. Some of them are just schedule views, but others are administrative in nature. So when you're building these, just have an idea of who the audience is going to be for it. And you will have the ability to block certain types of users from seeing certain types of content or even profiles. Let's save our work and exit out of the edit mode. The next step here is to create our dashboard for the web portal. As I mentioned earlier, the web portal has a fixed set of weekly and monthly schedule views already set up. So it's really just a matter of picking which shifts you want put onto a page. Under the Administration drop-down menu, we're going to select Company Center, and we're going to select Web Dashboard. Now, as you can see, I have multiple web dashboard pages set up, and you may choose to do the same thing. I'm going to create a brand new one from scratch, and I'm going to use the same name I used for my desktop dashboard. And after we name it and click OK, you are going to use the Select Shift buttons to choose which shift you want displayed under any specific block. And you also have the option to add an additional page. Now, because employees through the web portal can only see 6 shifts at a time, and that's only under the daily schedule where that restriction is applied, you may have to create multiple pages for them to scroll through all of the schedules, or create a profile for each department. Now, if you keep the profiles separate, you will be able to assign those profiles as defaults for any user within your system. This way, when your users log on, they don't have to search for their schedule. It will automatically load up with the schedules that are most relevant to them. If you add an additional page, just continue adding the shifts. And when you're done, click on the Save button. Now, as you continue to move through the online build and eventually through the advanced build, you're going to learn how to assign any profile as a default. You will also be able to restrict which types of users can see certain profiles. In other words, if I work in one specific department and you do not want me to see schedules for another department, those are absolute changes that you can make. And so that's how we build our dashboards. Now, on the Go-To training program, there is a category there labeled Materials, where you can download the Basic Setup 4 guide. And so by downloading that, you're going to see the screen captures and instructions on how to build the dashboards. So that's just a training aid that we offer. And about an hour or so after this session ends, you will receive a confirmation email that will also include a link to that document. Are there any questions on creating a desktop dashboard or web dashboard? If there are no questions, that would be the end of our session for today. I would just like to remind you that we do have help out sessions available. So as you are attempting to build either type of dashboard, if you run into any issues along the way, please feel free to sign up for those help outs. They are one-on-one 45-minute sessions. We would be logged on directly onto your system and would be happy to assist you in any way. Okay. Well, thank you so much for your time. Please enjoy your weekend. Have a great day.